Everyone, and I apologize for interrupting the ceremony, but if you've not been on Twitter or Facebook or just kind of generally on the web, the really big news this afternoon is that we have a new pope. And so I thought I'd come in and share that with you. Of course, I had nothing to do with it whatsoever, but, you know, news is news, and, you know. You have a lot to do with the great gains that have been made. I saw Ray getting his award. I know a number of others will get various awards and recognition. And whether you do or you don't, the real bottom line is that you're providing high-quality service to the citizens of this city, and that really is what public service is all about. I'm just returning. I was in New York earlier this morning. Many of you may also know that Philadelphia was one of 5 cities in the country out of 305 entries. And a lot of that recognition goes to a bunch of folks who are actually up here. Rich and Adele in particular participated and helped us put together this application, which just won $1 million from the Bloomberg Philanthropies, and of course the great work that Mayor Bloomberg is doing in New York. You know, as I mentioned, 305 cities entered that competition, 45 states were represented. They culled the list down to 20 and then down to 5. And today was the official announcement, and we spent some time with Mayor Bloomberg and at the philanthropy offices. But, you know, as I say, coming back to reality and coming back to Philadelphia, we certainly have our challenges, but the great things that get done only get done because of you. The leaders, the folks whose names you might see in the newspaper, hear on the radio, see us on TV from time to time. You know, we get a lot of FaceTime, sometimes more than we might like, or hear our names chanted a few more times than we might like. But the reality is we can't do anything, zero, without you. And so these kinds of events and these kinds of ceremonies, what we did just yesterday with John Elfrey, the Richardson Dilworth Award, is something that, you know, a couple of years ago I had this idea that we really needed to create something that more permanently recognized great service by folks who often are never in the newspaper. No one ever really knows them other than us, this family of public servants, but deserve recognition nonetheless. And no one in this city's history of 50, 60 years, I think, has really embodied what public service is all about more than Mayor Richardson Dilworth. And so, you know, we asked the firm where he was and Joe Giacovini and that whole team to be a part of this, and they were enthusiastic about it. So I want to commend all of you. And again, whether you actually get, you know, an award or a certificate or anything else, what I can at least say to you is thank you very, very much. I know you're there. We know you're there. The general public may never meet you. They might not know what we do. Half the time they think we're not doing anything, and, you know, wonder, you know, how we got our jobs and all this other kind of stuff. We do what we do because we're committed. You don't have the resources. You certainly don't get the pay. Often we don't have the stuff that we need to really make things happen and get things going. But, you know, we created 311 and said we were going to do it and do it within a year, and Rosetta and her team, fantastic job. We said we'd deliver a different kind of level of service out in the community, not top down, but from the bottom up. And that's what Rich and his team and John Farrell and the whole crew with Philly Rising. I see Stephanie over on the side. I mean, we've got, you know, tons of young people who will be with us this summer. High school students and college students in an internship and mentorship programs. What those young people get from those programs. And I want to encourage you, and when they come and they'll ask you a ton of questions and you'll explain things 8 million times, and sometimes they'll forget, or it might seem like, oh my God, you know, do I have to go through this again? Believe me, they get a lot out of that experience. They will learn something. And whether they come into government or not, what they're really going to remember is someone actually cared enough about me to spend some time with me and show me what the world of work is all about. When you're 16, 17 years old, you're not necessarily thinking about the career. You might be thinking about, you know, downloading the next CD or whatever the case may be. But I try to explain to young people when I go to see them in school, you know, in another 4, 5, 6 years, you're going to be an adult. You're going to have responsibilities. You're paying back your student loan. You might want to buy a house, get a car, whatever the case may be. And you really have to start managing your life. And as crazy as this might sound, many, many young people in this city don't necessarily know what the world of work is all about. They don't know that it's every day you got to show up. And I know you're really upset with that person you work with or your boss, but you really can't curse them out. You really do have to show up on time, and you might want to come 5 minutes early, and you might want to stay 5 minutes late. Someone has to teach them that. And they might not necessarily be getting it at home. We can help these young people here. And so what you do, I love public service. You know that. And many, many days, believe me, I'm doing things that I don't necessarily want to do. I know that we can't give you all the things that you deserve, but we're trying to do the best we can with what we have. We are starting to come out of the worst recession since the Great Depression, and things have gotten a little better, and the signs are out there. But we're nowhere near out of the woods yet. You work very hard. You've struggled. We've asked you to make sacrifice after sacrifice after sacrifice, with not a whole lot being given back. I know that. I know that. And it's painful to me that we can't do more. But we'll try. And so these kinds of events, I think, are really, really important, just to show a glimmer of what your value is to this city, to this government, and to the citizens of the city of Philadelphia. I'm born and raised, educated in Philadelphia, from West Philly, so I can get away with saying this. Philadelphians will complain about anything. It's too hot, it's too cold, it's too nice, it's too bright, it's too dark. They went to the playoffs, didn't get to the Super Bowl. Won the Super Bowl, didn't beat the point spread. I mean, whatever it is, we find a way to complain about it. But they're passionate. Our citizens are passionate. And they truly care about this city. And for all the moaning and groaning that they go through, I think most Philadelphians do really understand that we are trying to do the best we can with the hand that we've been dealt. And so keep your heads up. Be optimistic. Things are going to get better. They're nowhere near where they were back in 08 and 09. They're not back to where they were in 06 and 07. And we probably won't be back there for a while. But it's going up and it's not going down. We're actually making a little bit of money. We're not losing it like we were at the height of the recession. So be strong, maintain your commitment, and know that the folks who try to run this place most days actually do know that you're out there doing one hell of a job. Thank you very, very much. Take care.